together as a group, we did grow over $1 billion in yearly revenue on Amazon. Hey guys, just a few words about myself. My name is Mels. I'm an entrepreneur and, I'm the owner of Intellivy. We actually developed it. And it was not only my work, it was the work together with a bunch of other entrepreneurs. We've made it, but I own it. And we made it together with the fantastic team that we have here in the Netherlands, and added to that like multiple people from all sides of the world. We have a team in Ukraine, we have people in Macedonia, we have people in the Philippines, we have people in the United States. The organization is pretty big. But let me just give you like some reference, because you might think, like, who is this Mels guy? Like, never seen him anywhere. No, and that's true. I've never felt the urge to kind of come out in the open and express myself, because I'm maybe a little bit humble to do that. We've been part of many masterminds. We've been in masterminds with Jason Fladlin, Ben Cummings, Mike McCleary, John Gill is a great friend of mine. His son Sean is a great friend of mine. Being part of all these other groups, we decided in 2017, 2018 to actually develop our own group. And we did it together with Will Mitchell from Starter Bros. We have Ben Frederick included there, Tom Mayor, great guy. He lives in Spain. He's from Israel, young kid, brilliant guy. And Sean Gill and John Gill. And together we created this mastermind group that was around basically Intellivy and the knowledge that we've had. And with that group, it was a total group, I think, but the maximum we had like 85 people. Some of them sold their brands, did go other ways. But it was a decent group. And together as a group, we did grow over $1 billion in yearly revenue on Amazon, where Intellivy played an important role in actually getting those brands to those levels. And I'm not saying that to brag, but I think it's important for you to understand, like, where do we come from? And because we've had this mastermind, we had this like close group where you can name any group out there from MDS to other masterminds. I think the top of the pinnacle people were in our mastermind, and we kept it closed and closed, and we kept it kind of hidden from the masses. And we had a lot of people that tried to get in over the last few years, and we didn't want to, because we want to keep it small. But that was the same reason why I was not like actively engaged in any other group, and actually none of us leaders were, and many of the other groups people, they were involved in other groups, but we got most of the information from there, and there was no significant reason to actually, go out on stage and talk like in bigger events. Actually, it was the contrary. And we decided to open up to like a bigger group of people, especially with these campaigns, like the micro testing basic campaigns that we have right now, with one goal and only one goal. And that was that we want to get this new group of people together that will become the new dominators on Amazon. And we know that the tooling that we have it is perfectly suitable for other industries as well. And we get questions a lot from like other companies that, serve like big brands, retail brands, e-commerce brands. And we always hear the same story. Like, you guys play like the big league of e-commerce. You take it to a completely new level with the things that you do. And how we came there is an interesting thing to talk about, because when I started on Amazon in 2014, I was an entrepreneur for years already. I had some tough times. 2012, I got fired from my own company. We basically were making like a metaverse kind of portal. Back then, we had a company in Utrecht in the Netherlands. We had people from 5 countries all over the world working in that company. And we were going to create our own virtual metaverse. And in that, we had like an online virtual shopping mall where we had like big deals with retailers to actually 3D render their products, so that people can, shop online in a 3D environment and actually take the products in their hands virtually and, turn them around, look them from all angles, like to take e-commerce to a next level. So that's and that's where we started. And then it didn't take off. And by the time that we were in a very crucial phase of the company when we had like investors on the line to get in a second investment round. We had like three other guys. They wanted to get me out, so they fired me from my own company. I lost basically everything, and I have to start all over again. But that's just to give you an idea of like who am I and where do I came from. So I have a background in tech. We did a fantastic job in that company making stuff that was unheard of in a combination of 3 different business models, all included in one. And but then it stopped suddenly. Then I started over in a physical store. I actually started a physical store with a bunch of friends in a partnership, and then we passed ways. And in 2014, I was about to sell like stuff again on e-commerce. And then when I came into a group where Ezra Firestone was involved, he sent this email out for ASM3, I think it was. And that struck a nerve. Like I was like, okay, if people can make from their attic or their basement like $100,000 a month in revenue, that's either science fiction or true. And there was only one way to find out, is to start on Amazon myself. So I said, okay, take a product. I picked a product randomly from looking around in my house, like what am I going to take? And I started with a product, and I had one goal in 2014. I said, if I make like 10 grand in revenue, that's a success, and I'm continuing it. And then it was like $100,000, and from $50,000 was in December, and we started in September. We had a first sale, so it was a pretty interesting ride in the beginning. And then we had a goal for 2015. I said, okay, if I can make like $1 million in revenue, that would be great. And it was 2.4 million. And from there we started, and basically the sky was the limit, and we had growth ever since. And it was in 2016, 17 that we used all kinds of tools, all kinds of services. And I got pretty intrigued by the Amazon algorithm. So I got my teams pretty quickly to get stuff done together with me. And then I started to investigate the Amazon algorithm because I wanted to understand how the thing worked. Because some things made no sense. Everybody was focusing on like ranking keywords. But for me, it made no sense because I was looking at e-commerce for a long time. And especially with my company in 2010 to 2012, we had algorithms there that were much more sophisticated than what we've seen happening with Amazon, and how they actually played, their ranking factors, because it made no sense to me. And then I actually started to find out and reading all their patent materials and all the information that they brought out over the last year since 2001, I think it was. And I studied them all, and trust me, there was like weeks and months and years of work, and it's a habit that if something comes out, and I read it, I study it, I want to understand like what it all means. And sometimes it's mumbo jumbo. You have to, need some technical background to actually understand what it means when they say some stuff that's mentioned in those patent documents. But I started to understand pretty fast that it was not the search that was driving all the traffic. A lot was related to the Amazon marketing machine, what we call the Amazon marketing machine, which is recommendation engine, the email sequence, Amazon's advertising. They actually advertise products on Google, and that all together, I just wanted to understand like, okay, where do sales come from? And then we started like building scrapers, and we measured everything. Like even on a product listing, if you see those sections like sponsored products related to this item or 4 stars and above, and you can scroll through those pages, like sometimes like 70 pages of products there. Then even especially on desktop, you can see this little arrow on the side. You can click and click and click, and it says like page X from X. So page 1 of 71, for example. And I said, I want to have the whole thing, everything. And it was super hard for our technical department to get all that data and to scrape it. And then you had the blockages of Amazon that didn't allow it. But, we got through this, and still up to this day, a couple of 100,000 listings a day that we scrape completely. And we know exactly what product hangs out, if your brand, your product, has a position on another product. And, what days you had it, what days you didn't have it, where you have position and frequently bought together, when you appear on compare with similar item sections. And that told us so much if we put a layer of data upon a layer of data. So we had that data, and then we had the BSR data, and then we had the Google data, and we knew where products did show up. And we had other tools, and we found out like, hey, where do you appear on social? What's the engagement on social? What is Where does stuff get reshared? If an article is written somewhere that gets picked up by an influencer, he shares it, then you got engagement. And all we put that layer upon layer upon layer to actually understand how this algorithm works. And we found out trends, we found out patterns, and also we have been able to predict 4 times right now where the Amazon algorithm was going to go. And it played out all the time, it played out perfectly. So then we said at the beginning of year 2019, we said it was the year of, and it was, I think, I don't remember, it was, I think the keyword rank was that. And we had all these pillars that we said, okay, keyword rank is one pillar. Then we have like add to carts is a pillar. And then we have engagement on the page is a pillar. And we found out that everything had to be in a certain balance, right? Before that, you could like hit on one button, get your keyword rank to the top, and all the rest like reacted to it. And that stopped working. And that's what we predicted when we saw the algorithms going into that direction. And actually a year later, 18 months later, that stopped working. And then we said, now it becomes, the time of relevancy. It becomes like products need to be relevant, right? Your product is always sold in a chain. If people buy your product, X% of people also buy like similar items, or similar items, not same items, but similar items that are connected to your product. And so we found out, we basically reverse engineered the entire Amazon marketing machine. And now we have piles and piles of data where we actually can see over the years what kind of products were people bought in relation to other products. And, if certain products in that product chain lost position, what kind of products came back into the place. It was not always the competitors. It was, anyway, long story short, that was my passion. I wanted to understand it. And I have a passion for human psychology. I love human behavior. I want to read and study people, what they do, how they behave. And I want to influence it somehow. And I want to add value. And at the same time, I love the algorithm side of things. So how does an algorithm take into consideration the human behavior? And how can you do that the best way possible? And then if you are an algorithm such as Amazon, what is your main goal, your main purpose? What do you want to do? Of course, they say customer satisfaction, but at the same time, they just want to have the highest revenue per visitor. So that's how we came up with the highest revenue per satisfied visitor. That's Amazon's ultimate goal. They want to have satisfied visitors, and they want to have the highest revenue per visitor. So if that's the role, and that was our premise, like if you think from that perspective, what should we do with all the knowledge that we have if we were an algorithm? And then put that next to where Amazon was going. And then actually we learned so many things, and then we could actually predict where the Amazon algorithm is going. And we also know that by now, like where the Amazon algorithm is going. And it's not going in a very nice direction if it comes to the old tactics and tricks that we all use. And that's all been taught to us. So we continue this journey. And I think, honestly, I spent way too much money in making tools that we only use for understanding the algorithms. I think it's millions and millions of dollars over the last few years. And I'm not exaggerating. This is actually true. And every time I have like a fight with my financial department and with my advisory board, and they tell me like, what does this cost for? And what does this cost for? And that cost for? And I'm like, yeah, maybe we can monetize it somewhere, but I need to have this information. I just want to know this. For me, it's a passion. And it's also a passion right now to share the knowledge with the world, with you guys. Because I believe that if I know where the market is going, and this is becoming so much more sophisticated, that there's only like a percentage of people that actually get it and they know how to adapt to it. It will be the smart guys. And I love working with smart people. And so if you're a smart guy and you understand this and you want to like get on board and join Intellivy, I want to work with you. I want to know you. And that's how I became who I am, right? Working with great minds. And it's not always the people that are the longest around for the longest. It's sometimes the people that are able to adapt. And I believe that, growth and resourcefulness is super important. And I value that in my company, but also in partnerships that we have. I want to have resourceful people that can bring me to a next level. And that's why we opened up Intellivy as well. Like I want to get around people that know more than I do. Like with the tools that we have, maybe it's like a one step in a direction and they come with like 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. We can, on top of that, we can give like an extra few steps, because that's how I believe that the power of sharing and the power of the collective mind, that's where I believe in. That's what happened with us in the masterminds in the last few years. I mean, I learned so many things by just me ranting about something, and then someone else came with his rant, and then we put the things on top of each other, and that was where gold was created. So it was not just exchange of golden nuggets, which happens a lot in the marketplaces. No, we said, I want to have your ideas, and I want to have my ideas, and if we merge them together, what other ideas emerge from that? then your mind starts to work, my mind starts to work, and there's new stuff coming. That's what I believe is how we can beat like the big giants, which is Google, which is Amazon. They have market domination. And now what I want is, I want to beat those guys. I want to say, we understand how you guys work, and we know how to work alongside of it, and we know how to get in the minds of people. And you have these systems and algorithms. We actually know how to get to the customer, how we can add value to the customer. And that's what we are good at. And that way we are actually the guys, ruling the place. And it's not those algorithms or those portals. But that's for me is a passion to actually, get that done. To have a group of people together where we can say, okay, now we work with Amazon, but if something else comes around, we can all, flip from Amazon to like another portal. And it's not Amazon that makes the rules. It's us that make the rules because we have all those customers. And there's many ways of doing it. But anyway, long story short, that's what's my passion. That's what I'm all about. And that's what Intellivy is all about and how Intellivy came into being. I think it's just valuable for you to know that. So yeah, long story short, this is just like a sneak peek of in my, so who is this Mel's guy? Well, now you have some ideas of who I am. And I'm happy to know you. So reach out to me on social, reach out to me on DM. And if you have something interesting to share, I'm all ears. So thank you very much for watching this lengthy video about me ranting about me, which is super uncomfortable for me. But anyway, I had to get this word out. So thanks for watching and looking forward to meet you.